goosebumps every time, yeah, 713. Do the 281, yeah, I'm riding. Why they on me? Why they on me? I'm flying, sipping low-key. I'm sipping low-key and honest, rider. I get those goosebumps every time.
Newcastle United.
I get those goosebumps every time. I need the hype, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around me, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Pop the mugs. Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Loading Mag NUFC. This is a big weekend of football in the Premier League, and of course, it doesn't get any bigger than Newcastle United against Man United, and we will be previewing it on away days tonight. How are we doing, people? Chris, how's things? You good?
All good, mate. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to having the boys on tonight and discussing all things Newcastle Man United at the weekend. So yeah, I'm all good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. And we've got the boys in here. We've got the opposition. Of course, this is how we do it on the away days preview. We've got Kaz from Never a Foul, and we've got Dan United from UnitedFirst. Boys, how are we feeling? How's things? Big game midweek for you guys before you come to St. James's Park. How are you feeling about things?
Tomorrow?
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. I don't mind Leon. Don't really want to play you lot though. I'll be honest. I can't really be asked. I'd rather just park the bus against you lot. I care more about tomorrow, to be fair, than the Newcastle game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
United, how you feeling?
Yeah, echo it. Really excited for Thursday. Probably going to wash my socks on Sunday, I should imagine, and just forget about football because it's just going to be another shit show, I should imagine.
Okay, but before I will ask you about the game tomorrow shortly. But just thinking about the game on Sunday against Newcastle, you both said you don't necessarily care particularly about that game. All your focus is on Thursday. So, what are you expecting in terms of a lineup? What are you expecting in terms of an approach from Ruben Amorim? Like, do you expect him to do exactly that part of the bus, or are you expecting something a little bit different in personnel? Because you don't seem too bothered about it. So, will he be?
Of course, he'd be bothered about it. He'll have to be when he's professional. He won't dare come out and say that he's concentrating on Europa League, which he'd be a fool not to. But look, we're getting players back. How long we'll have some of them back for, we don't know. Luke Shaw was on the bench on Sunday. I don't think he's anywhere near ready. I think it was mainly just getting back in amongst. But I don't know about Kaz, but I just feel like he's got to throw all his eggs in the Europa League basket. We're going to have to go strong tomorrow, and then Sunday it's going to be rotation. You can't expect a lot of these players to play Thursday, Sunday. It's just not feasible. Not feasible at all.
Chris, what do you make of that? Not as fans, they're not really too bothered about the game. Is that what we're used to now? Like, is it kind of a false sense of security from a Newcastle perspective, or you're not really listening to it? How are you seeing what Kaz and Dan have said?
No, I mean, I'm sure Man United, Kaz and Dan, I'm sure they'd love to beat Newcastle United, but really, I totally get it because the priority has to be the Europa League. Let's be honest. If Man United come out of this season with a trophy and Champions League qualification, it's been a good season. I think I've heard Dan say it on 12th Man. It would actually be a really good end to the season. So obviously, all their eggs have got to be in that basket. Because let's be honest, even if Man United were to beat Newcastle at the weekend, it doesn't really mean anything. All it does is stop Newcastle in their tracks. So obviously, the priority has to be the Europa League, and it makes absolute sense. But Dan is right in what he says, and that Ruben Amorim isn't going to wave the white flag and let Newcastle win, but at the same time, he's not. I don't think truly deep down he's not going to be too bothered over the outcome or the result, because really, it doesn't affect anything if Man United were to beat Newcastle at the weekend. It's not, you know, the league position is kind of done, really, isn't it? The league is done for Man United this season. It is all about the Europa League. So he will be focusing his attentions tomorrow night, I'm sure, but at the same time, he'll want to build a bit of momentum, and, you know, he'll want to come to St James's Park and get the 3 points, but it's not the be-all, end-all.
Okay, so not really too much of an issue for Man United coming to St James's on Sunday. But think about your game on Thursday. Then that's the priority for you guys at the moment. That's the big game. I'll be honest. I haven't seen too much of this, so I'm kind of in the dark here. But I've been seeing on the news some stuff with Onana and Leon. Has there been a bit of a back and forth going on? And look, boys, you tell us what's been happening, because I'll be honest, I've got no idea, but I'm seeing that something's been kicking off or something's bubbling under the surface there. What's it all about?
He just said, I think we're better than them. That's it. That's all he said. I think we're better than them, and we're gonna have to go there and show what we can do. He says, well, we already know a few of the boys and whatnot. That's all he said. And then Matic getting on in his arsehole. What I don't like, I don't particularly like Onana as our number one goalkeeper, right? But what I don't understand is all these Play FC people and whatnot. You're backing a guy who played a couple seasons for us, literally gave one good season, model professional though, I must admit, and whatnot, over a guy who's actually in our team already, who's trying to give us a bit of backbone because everyone else is too much of a scaredy cat to give an opinion. Yeah, go there. We're looking to win. We are better than Leon. Like, don't look at... We got told Sociedad were better than us. They got absolutely toasted. You go look at Leon. They're missing a guy now through ACL, one of their best players, and another one through another injury as well, who's going to miss the first, potentially second leg in Fofana and Noama. So for me, it's like they got an old man up front called Lacazette as well. And he don't particularly play all the time, but I'm thinking, surely you go to Leon, you bring it back to Old Trafford, that's exactly what you want in any time. So I don't mind it, because I just think football's full of absolute little... You know what I'm saying? Like, full of little snowflakes, and they can't handle it. And you know what? The United fan base do my absolute head in more than any other fan base. The fairies, they're too keen on thinking, oh, one game at a time, be humble. All of it. Let Arsenal and Man City do all that gimmick, and then you know, just give a bit of backbone. We're unbeaten in Europe. We look confident in Europe. We look like a different team in Europe, because the play is more of a slower pace. So players can play at their pace. I know this ain't a Lyon preview, because compared to that game, compared to what we're going to do against Newcastle, I think Newcastle play the best football in the league. But for me, I think everyone else plays rubbish. You got your own style. You got the best midfield in the league. You got the best striker in the league. I think Gordon's back. I'm not too sure. I do. There are some weaknesses for Newcastle. Don't get me wrong. That can be exploited. But as long as you don't play Eriksen and Casemiro as a pivot, you might be all right. But I can't go thinking at St James's Park it's going to be a win. I expect it to be something similar to the Man City game, except you're going to press us. We're going to sit back in probably at a 5, not by choice, by default, and we're going to have to try and hit you on a break. You know, Kobe Mainoo's back, which is a big plus. He's on the bench for tomorrow and whatnot. He might get a bit of a feature. I'm just thinking that, like you said, it has to be a little bit of momentum. But if you look one, I don't mind, because I don't want Chelsea, City, or anyone near the top 4. And as bad as it says, I've been praising Newcastle for quite a while. I'm glad you won the cup, and I think you're in prime position to correct your mistakes in terms of going into Champions League this time with a much better team and getting better signings in. So you lot got the momentum at the moment, because you lot went for a bit of an iffy patch. I say this all the time. You don't want to play Newcastle after the break. If you go look at the history of Eddie Howe and Newcastle after the last break of international football, you see what they do. They go on winning runs. So if we even get a point, I'm not being funny. I think if you ask me, would you take a point right now? Every single Man United fan will probably say yes.
Cass, I echo what you said, and this narrative about we all know Onana's defaults. We know how bad he's been, but I actually want a player to come out and actually bite back a little bit. Matic said what he said, and Onana comes out and says, "Look, I'm not disrespecting, but at least I've won trophies here." I like it. I absolutely like it. The thing for me, I think, on Sunday is it all depends what players and what transition we play in there. Like Cass said, if we go with Casemiro and Eriksen, by the way, I don't think should ever put a United shirt on again. I thought it was absolutely shocking. It was terrible. And 100 appearances, by the way. How has that man played that many? And look, I've said it before, he's not the biggest problem at Manchester United, But he's one small problem that's become a big problem with these players that we just seem to be keeping hold of, paying money to, and hanging on to. So I think, like Kaz said, I think it will be a 5-4-1 by default. The issue is, whereas Newcastle have got their frailties in some aspects, we don't have the firepower to even make them worry about us. We've got Garnacho at the moment that's trying to do it all on his own. We've got Bruno that is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. And then we've got, obviously, Xerxes, and we've got Højlund. Xerxes does a step over and a spin. Everyone thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. And then we've got Højlund, who just cannot
play football. Can't play football.
Can't do it.
Yeah, he looks bad at the moment, but we'll definitely talk about him in just a second.
Worst striker in the Premier League, and I'm talking about after the second strikers.
Did you see the stat about Harry Maguire after the Forest game?
What he provided?
I mean, what does that tell you? What does this tell you? Has to go in the summer as well. Has to go.
Yeah, he's rubbish. I think he'd probably play tomorrow. I'd want him to play tomorrow only because it gives him a little bit more grit. But then I'd probably take him off. I think he'll play against Newcastle, but I wouldn't play him against Dan Burn and Shaw. They'll eat him up. They'll love to play against a guy like that. Honestly, you'd want someone that's up against back against a goal against Dan Burn. You don't like it when someone spins him or gets a little bit too close, drags him out wide a little bit. Shaw, obviously, I think he's not in his best form, and then you got Trippier who's just come alive again. And he's Captain Fantastic because he's had that rest period, you could say, since Livramento has taken the reins. And we haven't even spoke about that guy yet. Livramento, what a player! What a player! Him and we're lucky that Lewis Hall's out. He'd be our biggest problem, I find. I don't mind our defensive structure and everything. It's what can you find on a break, because we should have beat City realistically. But it's Garnacho can't hit a barn door at the moment. He's absolute wank as well. Got no IQ, and he don't like using the overlap for some reason. I don't understand that part. I think Luke Shaw will play though. I think he'll get some game time, but he's not. Come on, he's nowhere near ready, man. He's never. When is he ready?
Do you think I've been thinking about this. I don't even think he's bringing him back as a left wing back. I think he's bringing him back as
that's done about But we got Kakonki on the bench. He's one of our youngsters. Imagine Aiden Heaven, but just a little bit of a younger version, just as good in my opinion. Just another one of those. He's back, I think, for the Newcastle game or the second leg of Lyon. He's all right. Ahmad's back maybe for the second leg of Lyon, maybe. So that's a big bonus at least. But bar that, it's still rubbish going forward. Bruno's playing out of his skin at the moment. I'm not his biggest fan, but I appreciate him at the moment because everyone else is just so much worse. Him and Agate or him and Casemiro is the better combination for me. Agate's been crap, if we're being honest. He's the guy you want to bring on now, not Casemiro, which is weird because it used to be the other way around. As soon as he goes to the Xerxes' feet, it's like you tackle him. I'm telling you now, I don't know if Garnacho even gets past Trippier or let alone Livramento. And it's just and he's an impact player, not a starting player. So there's so many misprofile players at United causing imbalance compared to what you got going on. One thing I would say though, Bruno's got his number, got Bruno G's number at the moment. Every time he plays against him, he always has a bad game for some reason. I don't understand it. I don't understand that part. But I'm more worried about tonight, Joe Linton's strength. Just run it through us.
This is the thing, because Chris, we've been talking about this, haven't we, with regards to the midfield. Is that for you where we could potentially win that game? Because I'm looking at that, and Kaz has just brought it up. You got the likes of Joe Linton and Tonali. Like you look at the game against Leicester, for example. Bruno didn't have his best game, but Tonali was just running the show in that midfield. Is that where you think we could potentially win it?
It has to be.
I mean,
sorry, Chris. It has to be. I mean, our midfield has been in absolute shambles all season. Like Kaz said, I didn't think that we'd be saying in April that we're actually praising Casemiro. I mean, the one thing Casemiro does on Sunday against City, smashes them, gets into them. You want that passion. He used his experience, but I think against that midfield three, it terrifies me. Absolutely terrifies me. And then the problem is what you'll see is in the front two that Bruno's been playing, we'll panic and we'll end up dropping him back. Which when you drop him back, then with the creativity up the field just goes to shit. It's just we don't. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the team kind of picks itself. I would honestly not play Garnacho at all. I'd play him tomorrow because probably got no choice. But I'm actually playing Mount, Bruno, Casemiro, and probably Xerxes.
I'm telling you, I want him to. I want minutes in that lad. I absolutely want minutes in that.
The only reason being is because as much as you got a bit of a makeshift back four, slightly in a way, but the thing is they've been playing together for so long. Botman came back for a few games, looked really good, and gets injured again. Because I think he's going to go for surgery now instead. So Burn and Shaw's got a relationship. I think our back line, whoever you put there's got a bit of a relationship. Just don't put, as long as Maguire's not in there, I'll be a lot more comfortable. I know he didn't want to risk He just gave him the time off and all that. It'll be. I think he's on the plane to what's it called, on the boat or whatever to Lyon. But as long as we got like Delict, Mazraoui, and maybe a Euro, because Euro's improved, I feel like amazing. Because Jacob Murphy's on fire in form. He's come alive last couple games. People forget about him. You want to talk about Gordon, you want to talk about Isak. What about Jacob Murphy? He's a nuisance back post.
Well, what have you boys made of Jacob Murphy then? Because
brilliant.
He's what I think he's got something like 17, 18,
15 goals and assists. I'm keeping track. Don't worry. I'll do reviews for all your games.
Well, I think in all competitions though, I think it's more.
I'm pretty sure that's maybe perhaps. I've counted that in the league. That's all I saw. But yeah. But that's mental. You want to talk about 20 goals and assists for Kai Havertz in one season, or you want to talk about 20 goals and assists for another player, Brennan Johnson getting the media attention, but why not Jacob Murphy? Like, he's got 15. He could probably go get another few. Probably get one against us. Probably go get another one when he plays against Chelsea. Probably gets another one, whoever you get. He'll never ever get that highlight because his name's, I don't know what it is, or maybe because he's not like highlights and extravagance in terms of like a Gordon technical quality. But the thing is, it's all about Almon's purple patch. The guy's been doing it all season. I think he had a little bit of a fall off period when you lot had a fall off period, but that's about it. I think he's been one of your better player, if not best players. He's ranked maybe within the top 4, 5. But you do need someone to push him to that extreme. He's a Newcastle boy as well, isn't he? Like, we support him and his brother.
Well, so his family are from Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, he just gets it.
We've had this though. I mean, like, we've had players like this that are just consistent, 6, 7 out of 10 every week. And I feel like Murphy has actually been doing this for longer than people have actually made sense for him doing it. I think it's great for him. I think it's is he out of contract at the end of this season or next season?
I think he's got 2 more years left.
I'd be tying it down. I think he's done a brilliant season. I think players like that going under the radar is actually probably better for you in the long run because teams aren't picking him up. Every game you see him, he seems to find space, find the pass. It's because teams just aren't picking him up.
Yeah, I think so. He needs a new deal. He's someone that you need in your squad no matter what. No matter what.
Chris, am I right in thinking he's going to be 31 next season?
He's 28, isn't he? Is he 30?
Yeah, he's already 30.
Yeah.
There's no way. I still remember. Was he not at when I first saw him, was he not at Norwich?
Yeah.
Him and his twin brother, that's where they both came through.
No, he's been around for a minute. Yeah, he's been around. Oh, he's just turned 30 years old. So, yeah, you probably should tie him down to something brand new, or like maybe an extension, a year or 2 extension, maybe.
I think that's what will happen. I think he'll get to his end of his contract. He'll be back 32, and then it'll be like a rolling year, like what we've done with Fabian Shaw. But it's interesting. Like Kaz and Dan have had obviously an opinion on Newcastle, but had an opinion on Man United. From your perspective, Chris, what have you made of Man United? Obviously, they're prioritising the Europa League, quite rightly so. What are you thinking about Man United in the build up to this game on Sunday in particular?
It's an interesting one because they're a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, aren't they? Like a couple of times this season already, I've wrote Man United off. When I've gone to watch the game, and I thought, they'll get past us here, and then they pull out a performance from somewhere. I think if I was a Man United fan, I'd kind of want to fast forward and get this season over and done with, because I think Ruben Amorim's going to have a really big summer. I think they just kind of, it feels to me like they just need to start from a clean slate. There's lots of work to be done, and I'm sure when Amorim gets them on the grass in the summer, it's just going to be a case of showing them how he wants to play, getting rid. For me, I think there's a bit of a spine issue going on. I mean, the boys have already talked about it. Having an extra man in midfield. I think the likes of Casemiro, Ugarte. I feel like if they had maybe Manu, they got Mount playing, and then maybe brought in a new central midfielder. The number 9 is obviously an issue. They need a new striker. The central defence.
We need wing backs.
Yeah, you've got Dorgu, haven't you? I know.
But he's
Dorgu
going to
been-
take a while. He's hot and cold at the moment. The thing is, he's young and he's adapting. I don't mind the adaptation period. He last couple of games, I think he was absolutely rubbish. Like, especially not the previous game, the one before Forest, he was absolute crap. But the thing is, it's like he's allowed to be crap at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just it doesn't get help though that he doesn't get seen by Garnacho for overlaps. Every time there's a key overlap, don't get me wrong, this is where I feel sorry for Haaland. He's just peeling off a defender. But he goes in for a shot. But you always, I think everyone knows this is football. Use your fullbacks for the overlap. If they're not getting picked up, or your wingers technically, always use it because there'll always be a run on space of momentum for the back post cross. We saw it actually. How about this? So for your goal, I think it was your first goal at that. There's an overlap from, was it Livramento, who was back post Jacob Murphy? There you go. Simple. Football is so simple, but overcomplicated by egos. And that's what I see in Garnacho.
Kaz, with that as well, the thing I have been impressed with Dorgu is we've been crying out for this for so many years. A wing back / left back that gets to the byline and wants to get that ball in. So many times we've seen Dalot get the ball, pull back, try and reset it. I love it. And I think, like you say, he is allowed to have this dip in form at the moment because in an ideal world, Patrick Dorgu doesn't come and play this many games in his first season for Manchester United. He is allowed to develop as a player, get into the system. So he's got my backing, and I think we won't see the best from him. I don't think, but at least a year yet. He's got to grow. But also, Chris, you say about us having the time on the training field. You know, when the season ends, it doesn't. We're off to fucking Hong Kong like 2 days after the last game of the season. Yeah. We got 2 friendlies away. It's ridiculous. But that again is the impact of not having the money. We're having to try and bring it in. It's just a mess, an absolute mess.
Yeah, that was similar to us at the back end of last season. We went to, was it Australia, Pete, and we played a friendly with Spurs.
Oh my God, I remember this. It was last year, innit? It's straight on the plane.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
I think there's a plan of doing that again. It's a little bit later in the day with regards to pre-season, but we're going off to Singapore and South Korea, and I think we're doing the same again. Potentially another match for however many millions with Spurs again. I think go on. Sorry,
it's with Tottenham again, isn't it, Pete?
Yeah, Spurs again.
Yeah, if you're South Korea, then it's definitely Tottenham, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's it, and I think we're jumping on that bandwagon. So, like Daniel, you're right in what you're saying. Like everyone seems to be chasing the money at the moment because it has gone absolutely mad with regards to everyone needing money to justify PSR spending and all this rubbish. But you know, obviously, Chris has mentioned about you waiting for can't wait for the season to go or wanting it to be done. But realistically, are you looking at a transformative summer? Are you looking where you're going to be bringing?
Has to be. No choice. How many players?
Realistically, boys, for you, because we're looking at something similar as well. We're looking at really kind of filling in the gaps of positions that we need. Realistically, for you, how many players do you think are coming in? Like realistically now, how many do you think you can get in one window? And how many do you, and well, I say how many, but who do you think will need to leave your club in order to facilitate that change?
Ins or outs, Kaz? Ins or outs? Which one do you want?
Let's start with the outs. It needs to be at least 8 players need to go out, in my opinion. I think so. We already got 3 going out of 4. Heaton's going out, which doesn't matter, to be fair. Evans is going out, frees up a defender space, which is kind of key in a way. I think we've got a lot of good youngsters people forget about. And I'd rather, if you're going to go buy youngsters, what about looking at your own academy? You know, that's what it's for. Eriksen's going as well, and Lindelof is going. So they're all got. So that's 4 already gone. Yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone. Maguire's staying, which I don't actually mind too much. To be fair, he's not been the worst, but he's been decent. But he's still an issue because you can't play a higher line with him. Who else is going to be there? The Garnacho situation is I'm going to call it like this. Cool. Rashford and Anthony are pretty much and Sancho are all gone. You know, they're all gone. That's 3 players. So already that's about 7 players I've just mentioned. Then there's the 50-50s where you got your Garnacho. You don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's your 8th player. I don't know if you can think of anyone else. Or Casemiro's your 9th player, 50-50.
I just had one of Xerxes Højlund as well, I'd say.
10 players, then I think Højlund goes personally, but yeah.
Can I ask? Sorry to interrupt. My internet's a bit dodgy. Can I ask what are the? I mean, I've read it a few times now. What are the possibilities of Chelsea returning Sancho and having to pay the $5 million? Is that realistic? Is that going to happen?
That was clickbait. Didn't run a story. Because if you look at the headlines, I always look for keywords: could, should, possibility. Not it's going to happen. Do you get what I mean? So all these keywords, it's like, yeah, it could happen. Cool. Let me go find out a number.
I think they're saying as well, it's potential that they sign him and then sell him straight on. I think I've read that somewhere as well.
Yeah, Dortmund. I think because if Gittins goes, Dortmund will probably come in for him and they'll probably get their money back regardless. It's like, cool, we didn't work out. We still got rid of him. Done. Might make a few million quid on him even. So I think that's the case. We already just mentioned 7 guarantees or something and about a few players that are on 50-50s if you can get some good money from him. I don't think Garnacho goes beyond this season, personally. I think he gets sold, especially after all the January stuff. I think Napoli really want him still. It's always going to be a wage thing. And then the players coming in, I think it's just got to be a mixture of... If you get Champions League, then I have no worries at all. I have no worries that people will come in, players will come in. But if not, it's more like probably bringing some of the youngsters. I think you'd agree, Dan. Bringing like a few of them, mainly defenders, probably mainly defenders to fill in the gaps. I kind of like our defense. I don't think it's bad at all. I think you can even use the low where Lindelof plays on the right. Keep him over there a little bit with Yoro, Mazraoui. If you need him as a wing back cover, I don't mind it. I couldn't tell you right wing back who we'd bring in. I really want Tyler Dibbling. We'll see how much he costs after he gets relegated. I think I'm kind of sold to the idea that we're looking at the lap for 30 million when they get relegated. That'll be a battle now with Chelsea. They want maybe Osimhen. I'm kind of sold on the lap now. I don't want him, but I take him. He's a good footballer. Fundamentals, we need about 3 midfielders. And I'm talking about 8s and 10s. We need 3.
We've all been linked with Delap. He's been linked again today. Apparently, it's come out that he's got a 30 million release clause when we say if, but when Ipswich get relegated. So that's going to be a massive scrap for him. But I rate him. I think he's a good striker.
Got good fundamentals. Yeah, he's got good fundamentals. He's got 12 Premier League goals this season, 2 from a penalty spot. He's not doing too sad considering. I didn't even realise. He's a good player. That's what I mean. He's athletic and he's got good fundamentals.
Striker,
And that's
as well. Absolutely.
That's it for me. But you never know. It's always going to be a scare. Can you make that jump from A to B? Is it too much pressure? Because when you put in that number 9 shirt for United, it's different. But we need a whole new front 3. And you've got to work out where Ahmad's going to play. What do you want him as, the wing back or the right 10? It's another question.
Do you think also, I think there's something that will help us is the wages. The people that are going, that wage structure is going to change completely because we've already seen it that they don't want to be paying these ridiculous amounts of money for players anymore. So I think that's got to have an impact on our PSR anyway because we are spending. I mean, you go Rashford, you go Casemiro, Lindelof,
Ericsson, Anthony.
Anthony. That's got to be what 1.6, 1.7 million a week,
and half of Sancho's wage.
Half of Sancho's.
We're
saving that, but I agree. I think we need to be utilising the players that we've got coming through the youth. Look, the one thing about Manchester United the last 2 seasons, it's been bad off the pitch, but our youth system, the setup there is absolutely incredible. We have got a fantastic youth system, and these players are coming through. And I think with Amorim, he's not afraid to bring these players in and do this with them. I know as Manchester United, we've always been famed for having academy players, but he signed Heaven from Arsenal straight in the first team. He has faith in them, and I think with that comes the experience that they'll get. Look, as Cass said, we need to plug holes at the moment. But if we don't get Champions League, I feel like we are going to have to go and utilise this shocking, by the way, scouting network that we've been used to for so long, and try and get some people in there. The front line is absolutely abysmal. The front line is dead. We need something now. I saw today that Cunha has obviously been linked to us. Apparently, we're going to be having a chat.
He's a must. He's a must. That kid is a must.
But it's who we go against to get him because he is quality. Absolutely.
I've got lots of names. I've got a few names I like that we've been linked with in the 8s as well. Like if anyone knows, feel free to put your opinion across as well. There's Javi Guerra from Valencia, my hometown. So there you go. Javi Guerra, wicked player. Anton Stack, another player, wicked player in Germany, Hoffenheim. Good deal, by the way. Angelo Stieler, Stuttgart, having a mixed season compared to last season. Wicked player. Edison from Atalanta. Be a bit difficult to get that one over the line personally. I like Chris Rigg, wicket player from Sunderland. If you're talking about one of the most talented player in Sunderland, is Chris Rigg for me, and we've been heavily linked with him. Tyler Dibling's another one, heavily linked, and another one I would say. There's look at the free market. Angel Gomez, bring him back.
Yeah,
bring him back.
Yeah.
He's a wicked player. He's complete. He's not. He's little physical player that we ain't got in the team. That's like when it comes to either first phase or you want him on the left 10 of the space, which he's kind of played for Lille at the moment. Wicked player, and he's homegrown. So it's just, I think there's a good midfield base to go out there and say you don't need to spend loads of money, but you need a marquee sign. And if you're going to get 30 million in a regards to Champions League and say, you know what, we're sold on the lap, we're going to go with him. You have to look at Cunha and say that's our man. That's our key sign. He's Premier League proven. Go and get him. That's what Man United need to start doing, is shopping back in England and not everywhere else in the world, because you know you're always on 50-50 spectrum. That's why I reckon you're trying to get Gay rather than and not someone else from I don't know, from the Italian league or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you want to keep. Go on.
This is a question for all of you now. Do you think Newcastle will go back in for Mark Gay?
100%. It's 1 year less. I think you're chasing him. I think you're sold that the future partnership is literally Gay, Botman, and I think when he does eventually return, and you're happy to rely on Shah and Dan Burn if need be. I think you might find yourself getting a new left back, if anything. I would keep Dan Burn, what he's doing, where he's doing, and this is your position for quite a while now. So you're going to get your game time regardless. He's a legend now. Do you know what I mean? He's a Newcastle legend. So that's solidified. Go get yourself a new left back, someone that can cover Lewis Hall.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you all now, and Chris, you might not want to answer this because we're going to be covering this on the transfer shows anyway. But how many do you think Newcastle United need to sign in the summer, and who do you think we might go for? So you've already talked about the right centre back. You think Mark Gay is going to be that guy. Who else do you think Newcastle United should be looking at, and who will? Where do we need to strengthen them?
Do you want to take this one, Dan, or?
I mean, there's the thing is with Newcastle is like it's that structure, isn't it? You've got a really good, solid 11 there.
On a free.
On free as well, yeah. You've got a solid 11. I think obviously you just need upgrades. You need upgrades and you need to bolster that squad. I think you found out in the Champions League last time that it's a big, big season. I mean, let's not forget you've not had Europe this season, so you've been able to sort of go and have your rest in between games. But I think goalkeeper. I do think I know obviously Nick Pope, but I think you need a new goalkeeper. Dubravka obviously has done wonders in the cup for you. So my first one for you guys, I think we go out there and get that goalkeeper. Now, I saw Twitter does its thing, doesn't it? I saw a couple of stories saying that Ramsdale was liked by Newcastle. I'd be steering well clear of that, mate.
Oh, well clear, mate.
Steering well clear. But the other thing is, you need someone up there to cover Isak. That has to be a must, because if Callum Wilson can't stay fit, and when you go in and you're attacking all of these competitions on all the fronts, you're going to need the backup. But there's plenty.
Who though? And the reason why I'm going to ask you this question is because, and Chris, jump in on this because I know you'll know this, is we've had this conversation. We've talked about it on our transfer shows, and there are players out there that we're going as a three, me, Daz, and Chris going, yeah, we'll take that all day long. And Newcastle fans going, nah, he ain't going to want to come and play second fiddle at Newcastle. He ain't going to want to be back up to Isak. So there's so many different opinions out there of players. Like, who do you think realistically can come in and be a striker that can be alongside Isak? No, I'm not going to say second fiddle, because whoever is second choice will get minutes. But who's going to want to come in and be alongside Isak and fight for their place?
It's an age thing, isn't it? You have to get these players that you can work on. And we've spoken about Delap, obviously, we've covered it extensively. Lads, you can have Hoyland. I'll settle it for you now. Done. Take Hoyland. I'm sure Cass and I will share the driving and get him up there to you. It's absolutely fine.
I've got a few names.
Go on.
I've got a few names. I know exactly if I was Newcastle, I'd buy. I would be looking at, first and foremost, James Trafford's got to be the first one on the list. I think he's a good goalkeeper, available, young, good to build around, good feet. Your second one would be, he just said it, Kyle Walker-Peters. He can play both sides, like Livramento, 100 million %. I'd be bringing him in. then that's not even a first teamer, by the way, and he's on a free. So I think I just said that. So that's one first team, and the second first team, second one would be Embuemo. The way you play is just tailor made for that man to be in your team, and he's got goals, and he's a hard worker. Simple as that. Done, sorted. I don't actually, and then other than that, I'll be looking probably at Mark Gay, and that's your third one. I don't think you need any more of your first team now. I think it's complete with what you've got: Gordon, Isak, Embuemo. Your midfield that you've already got. You've already got Lewis Miley there. I think it's time to say goodbye to Joe Willock for me personally, and a couple others. Your left back, obviously, just mentioned that the striker up front I'll be looking at is Ekitike. Because if Isak is to go in the future, bring back why don't just go get the baby Isak then?
When they after him? When they after him?
And he can play, but trust me, they'll be able to play together.
We had the deal done with Ekitike. We talked about this. Me and Chris are very smiling because we've been talking about like the fact that Chris, you know, you'd love Ekitike back at the club. Lots of fans are going, "Oh no, we had his chance. He blew it. This, that, and the other." We had the deal agreed. The fee was agreed. The wages were agreed. But he was told by PSG to hold on. And obviously, being a French lad and at a French club, at the top French club, by the way, like he held on and he went to PSG. I don't hold it against him. I don't think, Chris, you hold it against him. You don't hold it against him. We're taking back. But he's coming back a completely different player to what we would have signed 2 years ago. So, yeah.
And a lot of money.
Cass, do you know something I'm chuffed about is I think with this new regime, the way we're looking at it, I honestly worry that we'd have gone in for one of the old heads that are available in the transfer window. I think the back end of last season, I think I could honestly see us going and spending stupid money on Kane. Look, Kane scores goals, but I'd like to think that our transfer network now, the way we're looking at it, is completely different. Because, you know, we spend stupid money. I remember the conversation about Isak and everyone was saying who could afford Isak. And I was sat there thinking, we'd have been stupid. I'm not saying he'd come chill, but we'd have been stupid enough to put that bid in. Manchester United would have been stupid enough to waste that money. And I know Isak's class, but Isak couldn't even help Manchester United at the moment with the goals and everything. We need to be spending our money a lot more frivolently this year, and we need to make sure that we're bringing the right player in the right position instead of getting one fantastic one, then just thumbing the rest in there. So it has to change.
If our midfield changes, the whole outlook changes for me.
Correct.
That is the whole thing, and then people would start looking at like look at Liverpool all of a sudden. All their old guard that were going Henderson, Fabinho, it was rubbish. They go get a few new bods. Don't get me wrong, didn't look the greatest at first, and then after you're like, McAllister's a player, still that. Gravenberch, no one thought that he was going to be the season he's going to have, and yet Szoboszlai for me is rubbish anyway. So forget that one. But really and truly, it's transformed. Even Endo can do a good job. So that's what I look at. You go get 3 midfielders, and all of a sudden they can keep up with the pace.
Yeah, it's completely transformed us, and we needed someone like Sandro to come in and play number 6 for it to transform our midfield. We had him playing 8 and Bruno in the 6, and it just didn't work. We switched them around, and it's just turned into what you guys are seeing now.
You say this now, but I always see Tonali always bombing on.
Yeah, but this isn't like a set position like the old school days where if you're a number 6, that's where you stayed. It is very fluid. You will see Tonali bombing on. You will see Bruno and Joe Linton. I think we touched on it, Chris, in one of our reviews. I'm not sure if it was Leicester or Brentford, but at times you see like Joe Linton sitting in that 6. And
it's interchangeable.
Yeah. You're just seeing Tonali and Bruno bombing on and pressing the ball. Like that's sort of the model.
Me, mate. Joe Linton. Do you remember, Cass? It was the first game, wasn't it, that Harry tried him midfield against us, and he was man of the match. Was it 0-0?
Yeah, I think he hit the bar like 4 times, 3 times, or something like that.
Midfield, and I was like, oh, Saints, this is gonna be cake. This is fucking dominated us, man. Absolutely dominated, and he hasn't looked back since. And I think when you look at the midfield 3. For every solid midfield 3, you have to have that one that does the dirty work. And he absolutely loves doing the dirty work. I'd be terrified going up against him if I was a player.
But that's what I think Xerxes can add, though, because I've seen him do it recently as well. He's starting to just put his body in the way, and he's starting to annoy players. That's what I just love a player like that personally. You're just a prick, but you are a prick. Everyone knows I can't stand him. Yeah, but everyone hates Bruno. But I don't like Bruno that much. But guess what? I love the fact that he's a flipping. You know, he rattles everyone, but it's just all up there, isn't it? It's just
100%.
Don't make them like that no more.
And they don't, and this is why we've said it before, he's so unique as a midfielder.
How much did you sign him for as a striker, Pete? Was it 40?
40.
Yeah, 40 million. Yeah.
It's mad.
The time that Sebastian Haller came in for West Ham, same season.
Yeah.
He wasn't much better as a striker than Sebastian Haller was for.
He was crap.
But he's turned it around. He's done the business. I just want to get through because there are some questions that we'll get through as well. But I wanted to get through the lineups then. Obviously, of course, you've got Thursday to think about. But what you think your predicted lineup will be, and you boys can do it. Work together.
I've got this out.
So, your squad's there. Who do you think's starting? How do you think it's going to be set up, in your opinion?
You want to go Cass first?
Nana in goal.
Yeah.
I think the lick's got to start for the physicality of it all. If I see Harry Maguire anywhere in there, I'll be absolutely flipping fuming.
Kaz, do you think they'll risk? Do you think they'll risk Delit midweek and Sunday? Though? That's the only concern.
I only had a twist in it, like a knock on the ankle. That's it. I don't know. He might not even start tomorrow. But I think he'll play both games. I can't see us playing Maguire both games. I don't see Maguire. I see Maguire coming on, but I don't see him playing. You might be right though. You reckon he'll go for Maguire?
I think if he's going to go over to maybe Maguire tomorrow, and then he saves Delit more for Sun. But then we need Delit more. I just don't know. The thing is, I'm terrified. When Delit went down, I was absolutely terrified that was in for the season. I think if we go on what it is, I think Delit has to start, like you said. I think obviously Yoro, and I think I don't know.
I don't think he plays. I don't think he. Mazraoui's is like his go-to kind of, but I don't. He's definitely starting Mazraoui tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just think he starts all the games. I'm not gonna lie. I think tomorrow, who would he play? Because he ain't got really a left sider, really. Oh, it's a bit difficult. You know what I mean? We kind of.
There, is he? Not against Leon.
He might. You know what? I reckon he'll play Yoro tomorrow, and I've got a feeling he'll play I've got a feeling he's going to play Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I think Luke. I've got that as well.
I think he's going to have to play him at one point.
Yeah.
So who's partnering Delit then? Sorry,
I'm going to be honest. I think he's going to go with Lindelof and Luke Shaw. You know, but beside the licked. Goes with Yoro tomorrow, Luke then and Mazraoui, then gives them a rest because that's what he'll be focused on. I reckon he'll start him there. I think he's got to play him at one point. Even if he gets 60 minutes, he gets 60 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's a back three.
Yeah, back three. Yeah.
So Lindelof.
I've got a feeling. I think he goes Lindelof.
I think
Lindelof centre.
Right.
It could be. Yeah. You know what? It could be Delict on the right. You might be correct there. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's done it before. I can see it. I don't see him playing a start in the same game. That's what I think. I'm trying to agree with Dan a little bit. We all know who's going wing back. Might just get him in there. Go on. Go on. Go on then.
It's going to be Dallo and Dorgo. You reckon Mazraoui will start on that day? Well, yeah, you're right. He plays every game, doesn't he?
But I got
game, hasn't he?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. If you don't play Lindelof, he'll play Mazraoui, I reckon. But I think Luke Shaw gets the nod.
So hang on then. If we're doing that, do you think maybe he goes Delit centre, Mazraoui right centre back, and then we go Delo and Dorgu on the wing backs?
Yeah, you know what? I think I can agree with that. Maybe he doesn't want to change things around too much. Maybe, yeah.
So Lindelof off.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Binham, he's crap anyways. I'm more happy with this. I'm way more happy with this. I think it was the low wing back. He's actually been playing a lot better recently, I must admit. You're right. I think it's the low Dorgu, yeah.
With Dallo, do you not think? I think Dallo has struggled to get back in form because he's played on the left so much. I think so,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's looked a lot better for me. Middle, who do you think got it? It's gonna have to be if he's smart, he's playing Toby Collier in that game with Casemiro.
I can get behind that. Yeah, I think that.
So double pivot, yeah?
Yeah. I think he'll go if he's smart, he'll do that because Casemiro can actually do the range stuff at least. Toby Collier's got the legs. Don't think Hobby plays. I think he's on the bench.
I want to see Mount and Fernandez there. I want to see Mount.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I want to see both of them as well, and I can see him starting Mount that game with Bruno. Bruno plays every game, so you might as well just get him on the pitch.
He's been absolutely waxing lyrical about Mount since he's got there as well. I think he's just been waiting to try and unleash him. I think if Mount doesn't get injured against City, I think Mount would have played a lot more games. I think he'd have been one of his go-to.
So whereabouts then? Where are they going to start?
Mason Mount will be on the right, I reckon, and you put Bruno on the left. Even though I reckon he should put Mount on the left.
Well, that was Mount's position for Chelsea.
On the left, so Fernandes here.
Yeah, well, more inside. It's more of an inside, isn't it? It looks what kind of like, as in, it's like a box.
Okay.
A little bit like a box, like or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're doing this,
the wing backs are meant to be technically the wing backs are meant to be on a halfway line. That's how it's meant to be, but it's not going to be like that. Let's be honest, it's not happening. Okay. And then I reckon he's just going to go Højlund.
I agree.
Not Xerxes?
I think Xerxes will play all the game tomorrow.
Okay.
I reckon he's going to go with this. That's what I reckon he'll go with. And I actually don't mind it. Actually, when I deep it, I don't actually mind it.
Cass, I think we got a chance for this. You know,
I'm going.
What are we doing? What are we doing to ourselves?
The only thing is, Toby Collier can definitely match Joe Linton's athleticism in terms of strength. You need Casemiro on that side. Tonali. My thing is, Tonali's gonna have a fucking game, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay. So that's the team set. Chris, what we're going Newcastle United related?
Don't look too bad. Bring Kobe off the bench for one of those in the 10. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Get Toby off. Put Fernandes back there. Get him on Kobe.
Doesn't that change it for us? I mean, you look at the bench that the players we're leaving on the bench there. We start to have a bit of a bench to bring players on here, which we haven't been using.
The only issue is they ain't got a clue how to play yet. Mount's still adjusting. Kobe, we don't even know if he's gonna flip in. If he's gonna he's had a shit season. Let's be honest. We'll see what Heaven's around, but he's not gonna play. Euro will probably come on later in the game for Mazraoui. Mazraoui 100% gets swapped over.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw will 100% come off as well. You probably see Lindelof and that come on for him. Probably see Harry Maguire come on towards the end, maybe if you're defending a lead. Agate will definitely come on. Again, it's just same thing. It's kind of obvious. It kind of picks its own thing. Yeah. Agate will play most of the game tomorrow. Casemiro, you can't undrop him. You need Bruno further up, to be fair, against a Lyon side in the Europa. You probably play Garnacho and Xerxes, I reckon. But
yeah, great. I think you're right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. At least it's a bit of a rotation, but it's still crap. That attack is still crap.
Yeah, it's
just crap. Look, the thing is with me, if you had a competent striker like an Osman, I'll be looking at thinking, fucking no, like, you know what? All right, fair enough. I think that's decent. But the issue is still what lacks in this whole team. What thing sparks the mind?
So number 9.
No, No, I'm thinking pace, explosiveness.
Well, you've got that. That's where we miss Ahmad. Ahmad just turns it.
Ahmad's explosive, but he's not rapid. Dorgu's rapid, but he's not explosive. Højlund is just crap, so it don't matter. So you know what I mean? Like, Ahmad's back. Well, technically he's back, but he's not training fit, match fit back.
Okay.
Do you get it? And it's like you look at one of them 10 spots, and they're not mobile enough. Well, certainly not Bruno. Anyways, he can barely beat a player. So
I only want to see Ahmad if we make it to the Europa League final. I don't want.
I was hoping to see Ahmad and Dorgu as our wing backs because it's like great. There's a lot of width. There's a lot of width, right? It's like when you see for yourselves, you see Livramento and Hall. They're just flying wing backs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But this time we got wingers that are more flying wing backs in terms of that. But it's just
Has Ahmad signed his contract yet?
Yeah, he signed a new deal. Yeah.
Oh, he's already signed. Okay.
Kobe next.
Chris, throw us out your 11 then for Newcastle.
I'll throw it out. Just before I start though, I just want to say that team doesn't look as bad as what I thought it would. I agree with you boys. When you look at it, it's actually pretty decent, and it just shows you put a different number 9 in there, you put Kobe Mainoo in there, you add maybe a new goalkeeper, maybe a new centre back, and then you put Ahmad in there as well. All of a sudden you're going, actually, this isn't looking too bad. If you had a proper striker lead in the line, if you throw in like a Mateus Cunha in there, maybe for Mason Mount, you throw in a Liam Delap, you throw in a dynamic centre midfield who can get up and down the pitch. All of a sudden, you go, and actually, yeah, Edison would be brilliant.
No, Edison needs to come to Newcastle, man. That's we need to.
No
you can have Longstaff. You've been linked with Longstaff. You can have Longstaff.
Absolutely not.
No, that was a rubbish story. Nah,
Go on, Chris. Talk us
Yeah,
through.
I'll go for it, mate. It should be pretty simple. I think it's going to be unchanged, but I'll whiz through it anyway. So it'll be Nick Pope in goal.
1 second. Let's go for it. Nick Pope in goal. Yep.
Yeah, it'll be Tino left back, Trippier right back, and then it'll be Bain and Shah in the centre back positions.
Sure. I know it's Botman. Oh.
Yeah, Holden will be Tonali.
Big Sandro.
Yeah, and then it'll be Bruno on the right, the real Bruno on the right.
By the way, never had a good game against Bruno Fernandes. Just letting you know.
No,
weird one.
It's one to look out for, actually. I've never noticed.
Them two always fight. They always fight.
Bruno Fernandes didn't play against us at Old Trafford.
No, he was banned. He had a suspension. Yeah.
But Bruno, our Bruno, real Bruno, he's
Tino Livramento might not play in it. He carried a knock.
He'll be fine.
He better get juiced up. You're basically saying he better get on the painkillers.
yeah, he'll be playing. He'll be playing. We need him 100%.
Yeah. So it'll be Big Joe on the left.
Yes.
Yeah, and then left wing will be Harvey Barnes.
Yeah.
Right wing will be.
Wait. Where's Andy Gordon? Is he injured now?
He's coming back from injury. I don't think he'll start, but we're hoping he'll be on.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, he got injured on England duty. He's actually got a really bad hip injury. He hasn't been able to train for a while. Had really bad bruising around it, but yeah, there's a hope that he'll be ready to play a part off the bench on Sunday.
Yeah,
I look at this now. Will be a hope.
He was suspended for the Carabao Cup final and then up until Brentford, so he could have come back against Leicester on Monday night. But because of the injury, that's what's kept him out. But we're hoping he's going to be back fit for the bench on Sunday. Jacob Murphy on the right.
Yeah.
And then obviously the main man through the middle.
The big issue.
Yeah. Be ready to rock and roll. He'll be, you know what I kind of like about this, boys, and you might not like it as Man U fans, is that he'll be pissed off that he didn't score on Monday. He made some good runs. Players weren't finding because we were just kind of keeping the ball and being a little bit more professional. And he had a couple of half chances to score, but he'll be chomping at the bit to get on the score sheet on Sunday.
You know, I don't mind about this. Man City fans, including Daps, got gassed at the way they beat Leicester, and so did you lot. Might be a little bit of complacency in St. David's Park.
Would you agree, Chris? I don't think Newcastle fans did get gassed about the fact that we beat Leicester. I thought it was easy, but no,
it was super easy.
It was too easy. But
I look at that right hand side. I think there's an issue. That's one thing I saw Leicester do quite well, was work your right hand side a little bit. Then obviously Patson Daka couldn't. Oh my god, missing an absolute sitter. Yeah. I think that's one place to exploit is the pace down your right hand side. But Jacob Murphy's a hard worker. Depends on Shaw really.
It's the
I thought. Oh, sorry, Pete. I was just going to say I thought it was quite a professional performance, and funnily enough, Pete, and you'll remember this on the reaction show, I likened it to the performance that we had against Man United. Remember when we went 3-0 up, and then it was almost like we just took our foot off the pedal, and it was just like, just see the game out. The game's done. Just see it out. And that's how I took the Leicester game. I can see why some people were annoyed and upset, thinking, "Oh, you should be getting 4, 5, 6, 7." But it's like, we don't need to. 32 minutes, 3-0 up. Just see the game out.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be interesting. Like, one last thing before we come to predictions and wrap, lads. You know, you've talked about our weakness potentially on the right hand side. Where do you think your weakness is from a Man United point of view?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's easy to say, though. it's easy to say. And I knew you were both going to say that, but like, where could you?
It's the midfield.
Where could you see?
It's the midfield.
Yeah, it's the midfield. I don't mind Mazraoui against Barnes or Luke Shaw against Murphy. I'm not too fussed on that part. It's just the middle. It's always going to be the middle.
We've done well with Casemiro's done well the past couple of games, but the problem is we're expecting Casemiro to play week in, week out at the moment with a player that, let's be honest, we all said his legs have gone. I think he's done himself. I don't think he's done himself any harm the last few weeks, but you can't expect this poor guy, to keep doing this week in, week out. And I think your midfield three there will just it's going to be a case of we have to try and stop the rot in the middle legs. If not, you're just going to overpower. It'll go out to the wings and it'll be a shit show. That's
why I'm putting 3 hard workers there. It's not bad. It's just what happens when he gets forward. Does he get? It's the turnover part. See, if he plays Xerxes instead of Højlund, I don't mind it too much. But then it's like, who's running beyond him?
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one, boys. But the lineups are there. Let's see if they turn out to be the same. Look, boys, we're gonna wrap. But just before we do, from the Man United boys, give us a prediction for Sunday.
1-1.
Cash, you've done me over here, mate, because I was absolutely out of it. But we put this team together, mate, and I'm looking at it going,
get a cheeky draw, man. Get a 1-1 draw. Why not? Yeah, why not? I'm never predicting a loss. Forget that.
I'll go.
Oh, interesting.
Do you know something? Away from home, we're not as bad as we are at home. So I'm going to Cass. I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to put my neck out and say I was going to go 2-2, but I don't see us scoring 2 goals at the moment. So I'll go 1-1. I'll go get an early goal, and I think we try and shut up shop and you equalise later on.
Interesting. Chris, Newcastle perspective, we're going to be there. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I think it'll be tighter than what some people think. So for me, I think we win 2-1.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's a good prediction actually. Yeah, the 2-1 prediction. I'll go a little bit high just to be different. I'll say 3-1. But I think we're not going to have it all our own way. I think it's going to be a lot more of a difficult game. But that lineup's interesting. I want to see if that lineup's actually comes out, because that's an interesting one, and one I didn't expect to see you guys put together. But boys, we'll wrap it up there. We've got our predictions in. The lineups are in. Let's see if they materialise. Kaz, big up. Thanks for coming and joining. As always, make sure you go and go over to Never a Foul and give them a subscribe as well. And Dan United, always a pleasure. Make sure, if you haven't seen Dan's TikToks on United, go watch them, because they are absolute quality.
Hey, they've battered me. I've slowed down the past couple of weeks. They've just absolutely battered me emotionally. I'm sick of screaming into my phone. I'm sick of doing it.
Hey, we all do it, mate. We all do it. And of course, make sure you hit those likes on the way out. Get those likes up on the way out, people. Thank you for joining. And we all appreciate you taking the time to come and join us. Boys, we are out of here. And let's hope, for your sake, that you win on Thursday, but for our sake, we win at the weekend. Let's go out with some how.
Drink it.